tracks, talking I-dos without holding back. From bridezillas to budgets that break, we spill the tea, no filters, no fakes. Venue drama, cake disaster, how to dodge that floral master. Vows, vendors, legal blunders, we light it up and bring the thunder. Unfiltered I-dos, we tell it like it is. For lovers, hustlers, and the wedding biz, no fluff, just facts and the stories you choose. With Erin and TJ, we're breaking the news. Unfiltered I-dos, let's talk it through.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Unfiltered I Do's. My name is TJ Harrison. With me, as always, is the wonderful Erin Calvamontes.
Hello, TJ.
We got a special guest with us today. Do you want to introduce the world to our good guest here?
I'm going to let you do that.
Everybody, this is Adam DeForio, DJ Adam Baum, the man, the myth, the legend. Also the proprietor of one of the busiest photo booth companies around, I'd say. Right.
Like it.
Yeah. Adam, I'm going to let you do just a brief bio on yourself real quick, and then we'll jump in with some questions that we have for you.
Yeah, thank you, TJ, Erin. Happy to be here. So I DJ Annenbaum, most explosive name in entertainment. Actually, I started out as a trivia host back in the days when people didn't even know what trivia was at bars and restaurants. They thought trivia was on that little box you get at Buffalo Wild Wings. And so that was my start, right? Being on the microphone and thinking I had to have this presentation and this presence. And that led to obviously having music to be played in between your trivia questions. And then all the collections of the music, meeting other DJs and kind of collaborating on all of that. Plus I was a bartender at Seven Springs. So I got to kind of hang out with, I got to hang out with a lot of the DJs up there. And this was, 2007, 2008. And then when I became, more into wanting to do events and weddings, it's really funny. It's like, I was the type of person that I would look at something and say, oh, I would never do that. And literally the very next year, I'm doing that plus more.
Oh.
Okay, so you said about the photo booth. So when I started a company, I just wanted to DJ weddings in Pittsburgh. I'm from Greensburg. I'm Westmoreland County. I didn't think that, anybody from the city would want a small town guy like me to go out and do any of these events. But I felt like, I can. Like I felt good at the presentation I was able to give to all the weddings and everything I do. And so I came up with a company and I started DJing an event that had a photo booth. And the guy running this photo booth had to sit there and hand cut every picture. And I was like, I will never own a photo booth. Very next year, I am going to a bounce house convention in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Because I thought, well, I want to go more. I don't want to be more than just a DJ. I want to be able to have all the entertainment, right? I want to compete against those companies. And I go there, and the very first thing they say is, if you've never been sued before, prepare to be, because that's what you do when you have a bounce house. And I'm like, never mind. And so they had a photo booth there, and they were selling this photo booth. And I said, how do you cut the prints? And they're like, oh, it cuts it for you. So, yep, I took the money I was going to use to buy a bounce house and bought a photo booth instead. And then this photo booth was kind of like an open air, they called it, where it really wasn't a full enclosure. It kind of the curtain cut off halfway so you could see your legs. And then,
So a top half curtain.
it was a top half.
Oh, weird. Okay.
So it was a metal box with the frames that came out like a curved angle. And then you just had this like curved backdrop. And you can replace the backdrops to however size. And it was neat, but it was so old school, right? And so the internals of it was this big, massive tower computer with a Sony webcam.
What year was this?
2013. Okay.
The technology has jumped a lot since then.
No kidding. So yeah, Sony webcam, took your picture. You could do everything on this software. And then the printer, it would cut the prints. And it's the normal DNP printers, right, at the time. That I still have. So anyway, when I thought to myself, well, I like this. It works. I'm never going to get a full enclosure because I saw one. I'm like, oh, that looks ugly. Next year, I get a phone call, and it's a couple who is selling their business, and their business is Moxie Photo Booth. And the couple is from Utah. They only started this photo booth business because the husband was going to school at Pitt, and he was trained to be a physical therapist. So the wife, they have a kid. They're like, well, what are we going to do to have money? And so he made this photo booth out of um, entertainment boxes, right? And pipes and the whole nine yards. And he did well, right? Did it for a couple of years as well. He now graduated. They want to move back to Utah, but they still had clients. They didn't know what to do. And they were going to sell the company to somebody, and they just kind of dropped the ball. So at the last minute, they found me. They saw that I had a photo booth and said, would you be willing to buy our company? And at an amazing rate, I said, you know what? You guys are awesome. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to, make it go as far as I can. 5 years later, I am working for Visit Pittsburgh, and they said, hey, we are going to Utah, Salt Lake City for an event, and we want to know if you can come with us because we are the sponsor for the VIP section, and we are to provide something fun for the VIP guests. So could we use your photo booth and you come out? And so 5 years later, I get to bring Moxie Photo Booth from, a
That's
couple
crazy.
from Utah to their hometown
Oh,
and be like, just what? Your business that you started, I brought it back to you. So that was a really cool thing.
did you get them to come to the event?
No, they weren't about that.
Had them work at the booth. I mean,
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, it would have been amazing. It definitely was not the same booth, of course.
No. Let me ask, because obviously you've grown, you have several photo booths at this point, and the one that I think is the most intriguing is the rope. Yeah, I mean, you're the only person I know that has this in Pittsburgh, or maybe even anywhere that I knew. Tell us about the robot photo booth. How did it happen? Where did it come from?
Well, I can honestly say that I'm not the only one. I mean, maybe in Pittsburgh, I'm not sure, but I'm not the only one in the country. So there was a company that made this booth, and when I saw it at the convention, I was like, I gotta have this, and it matched our look. We wanted the ring light look at the time. We wanted the iPad. We wanted all of that. So it had all of it, and when it came to me, I'm like, it's got to have a personality.
Okay.
Like this is that entertainment, right? Just like in trivia.
Yeah.
You can't have a trivia host who's gonna be dull and bland at all. Just like a DJ, right? If your DJ has to be on the microphone, he needs to have a presence. Um, so for this particular robot photo booth, the robot has to have a presence. Otherwise, it's a selfie station on wheels.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it that way. So it started with a name, and then we came up with the name Marty because our business is Moxie Events. So I was like, all right, Marty, we'll call it Moxie's Auto Roaming. Take it yourself. Okay. Marty likes this art. Well, I then worked with a company on designing his facial features. And so his eyes animate, his mouth, it says touch to start, but you can't tell. It kind of looks like a mouth. And then he also involved too. He was just, a robot with a little LED bow tie. And now I got him in the craziest clothes. I dressed him up as a ghost one time. Oh yeah, we built this structure to go over top of it. We had LED lights inside of it. We made the screen all clouds and smoke filled, and it was the coolest thing in the world.
What event was that for?
It was a Halloween wedding.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, it was a
Yeah.
Halloween wedding, and she's like, "I love this robot. Can we just have that?" And I'm like, I love a challenge.
Yeah.
I go, I have a better idea. What if we turn him into a
Good. I'm very similar. Like anytime a client has an idea, I'm like, let's take it even further. And I'm like, you're seeing this, but in reality, like for a little bit more, we could go to here and like really blows.
And I'm sure your sap goes, thanks, TJ.
And absolutely, I show up and I'm like, guess what we're doing today, guys?
Yeah.
We're launching a podcast. Erin,
so Adam, how many since back in the day? How many now photo booths do you have?
In total, 18.
wow.
So we have several of the iPad ring light shuffle stations. We have two Martys. We have the stationary, I guess you want to call them, with your camera and computers and stuff like that. So we have a lot of those booths. We have ones you can walk around with, so handheld. We call them roaming stations. I have one that actually has a camera built into it, so it's nice that they can take the picture. And then again, talking about wanting to go above and beyond, I decided to make my own photo booth, and so we have what's called our vintage photo booth. And this one looks like it's from the 1890s. Oh, cool. But it has a screen on it that you can actually see yourself, so it's kind of like got a modern touch to it. And the lighting is perfect. And if you remember Idlewild Park and you have the timeless photo area,
Yeah.
I've now partnered up with that company, and so we actually have all of their props that we can use. So we can now do those old tiny photo Western photos. Yeah, we do old Western photos, and then your camera is not just a camera with a tripod.
Okay.
It now has the full aesthetic.
Is what enclosure with the lens.
Exactly. That's what make it look like. What about the large format?
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. In your business, obviously you're staffing DJs, you're doing photo booths. 50-50 in the way it's split up right now in bookings, or are you predominantly getting more of one or the other?
Oh, great question. We were just talking about this earlier. You know, I'm sure you quite relate to this. COVID really either messed everything up or made something better.
Yeah.
All right. And I would say that for me, the end of COVID, the DJ business for us was increasing.
Okay.
Now, I truly felt that that was a, I would say it was probably the collection of all the missed events.
Yeah.
You know, and pushing that over to, hey, we need DJs. Hey, we need an event. But when my photo booth business started to, like, I started adding more and more and realizing, hey, more people, I can do more events with a photo booth than I can with a DJ. And, you know, one of the things that I was going to talk about at the DJ conference was how you can actually own a photo booth company to help your DJ business out. Right? A lot of people, a lot of DJs, whenever they're starting out, you know, you guys have a DJ just like me. I was like, I just want to have a photo booth to offer because we want to offer more, right? You want to grow your business.
That was the first thing I added.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the first thing you're gonna do is look for how can I get it cheap? How can I have it where I can just set it up and forget it? And I will tell you that that is possible, but it's not gonna last.
Yeah, the Canon selfie printer and the iPad was like my original go-to. Every print took me about a minute and a half. People are like, "Oh, let's go," and I'm like, "Listen, you're gonna make this thing freeze. Like, hang out, have a drink, make it casual."
Come back later.
Yeah. And then I started really seeing like the actual potential of real photos. 'Cause, it worked. It got me through 2 years, honestly, doing it that way. And now, and I hate to admit this on camera, I don't even do photo booths. You know, I have a company like yours that I call and I'm like, hey man, I've got a photo booth that I'm renting out this weekend. You need to be here at this time. Here's the graphics for it. Go do it.
See, I'm different. I do. I love staffing my photo booths with people and getting them to, you know, get into business. But I also like doing them as well, especially with Marty, right? Like to me, I hide the remote because it isn't autonomous.
I was just going to ask you how he gets around.
It isn't autonomous. I'm gonna go ahead right now. I'm revealing the curtain here. It is basically a remote control car.
Okay.
It is. Now the remote on it is the same as an AirPro, right? A remote AirPro. So this thing,
Up, down, left, right, triggers.
well, I'm talking to distance.
Okay.
So I mean, if I had to, I can probably control one up to a mile. Oh yeah. So I don't have to be standing next to it.
Is there a camera so you can see what he sees?
So no, you will have to kind of roam around the area. So I like to be, you know, kind of hidden in a sense, but I kind of drive him backwards where I don't stand behind him. I stand in front of him so I can still position the people And what's great is that people think that it's autonomous.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, like he's positioning it.
I mean, never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a Pittsburgh robotics company or not company, but a investing. And the scientists and the engineers that make robots, and they're looking at me asking me what computer chip I'm using. And it was so hard not to just be like, oh, let me tell you. And no, I had to be like, look, it's remote control.
That's one of my favorite things at events is when, the people that know stuff about the technology come up like, how are you doing this? And I'm like, well, truth is, it's actually not that complicated. If you look behind the curtain here, it's like one program and some wires. Look,
There's that one person that, you do play a little Wizard of Oz with that.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you keep them going until you're just like, all right, I can't take this anymore.
You built your one photo booth. Do you have aspirations of building other stuff for your business? Is that something that really gets the gears going for you?
Yes and no. Now I'm a dad. And
Congratulations, by the way.
thank you. Thank you. I, as much as I want to spend that time, I also want to spend more time with my daughter.
Yeah.
And my wife. And so it's like, I gotta make it easy for no matter who I have working for us. I want it to be simple enough,
Yeah.
still creative, still, unique, still get that high quality experience that you're looking for when you're hiring with us. But how do I do that for my staff so they're not having to be engineers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't need them to know how to set up an entire production. Like they need to be able to get there, do their thing, set everything up, have minimal tech issues, things that they can kind of fix on their own. And then I'm able to spend that time with my family or spend my time, being the best DJ at a wedding.
Yeah.
So for right now, building more photo booths is not where I see myself, but building more aspects or accessories to the photo booth is, I think, the next project.
As far as your photo booth design goes, standard backdrops, are you doing anything more ornate to that?
Yeah. So a lot of things are moving into AI,
Got it.
right? Pittsburgh, you guys are just not here yet. Like New York, California, it is AI everywhere. They want AI generated
Okay.
right? And that's what I'm seeing. I mean, and to be honest with you, my robot I bought in 2018, right? Like I tried so hard. In fact, I ended up the first company that actually said yes to me was a company that I did for free, and it was the Pittsburgh Film Office. And I saw their ad on TV, and I contacted them. I go, I will give this to you. And now we do it every year, right? It's fun. It was a great thing. But I felt like Marty's now picked up 5 years later.
Okay.
And now we're getting more calls. We're getting more work with him than we did before.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of the things that really drew me into wanting to know more about your company. As I saw that thing pop up online, I was like, this dude he's trying to push the limits of what people are doing at events. And I love that. Erin, do you have any questions for him?
I actually did. We were talking earlier about technology that goes wrong. Can you share something that has gone awry? And
So before I do that, I want to go back to what you said before about building photo booths and stuff like that. So improving is where I see myself too, right? So for instance, Marty. Marty essentially is an iPad with a ring light. Okay. However, getting people with glasses, you're going to get a ring light right there in your eyes.
right.
Unless I tell the people, put your head down so that the reflection bounces away from the camera, then, you're always going to have that ring light in people's faces.
I have that curse.
Quality of photos. I have, the newest iPad Pro that's portrait.
Yeah.
They can take that photo and it's good quality. But if you go to print it out, it's not good quality. It's still a front-facing camera. So I'm actually now working with a company where we're designing a head for Marty It's going to be the newest iPad that can be landscapes, like still get those boomerang shots that way. But it now has a DSLR camera.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to get a higher quality photo. We can put a flash on top of it. So that way it's going to eliminate the idea of the ring light. It'll still be a ring light because you still need that. You still need that visual.
Yeah.
Right. You still need him to showcase and be that person on the dance floor and the center of attention. But you don't want him looking like Cyclops. So we're designing something like that. And I would love to work with an engineer, even a robotics engineer that would love to be able to automate his head.
Like some movement.
Yeah, whether I control it myself using a remote, but I would love to be able to movilize his head. Right now, you have to manually tilt him up and down if I want to try taking pictures of kids or tall people.
Okay.
But to go back to that DSLR camera, you got to make sure that you have enough power to power these new cameras. I mean, old school DSLR, Rebel T3i, right? Is just like the most popular camera any photo booth would have, right? It required less maintenance. You can connect it directly into power, and it took DC steps, right? And that's what all of my photo booths were for years. All I would do is maybe increase the number from a T3i to a T7i, whatever. Now they switched over to this mirrorless camera. You went from an N50 to now the Canon R100, and the R100 is right, is what all the photo booths now live all over. Everyone's switching over to this.
How much is one of those cameras costing you?
$700, $800.
So $700-800 on top of the $1,000 iPad, right? On top of the, let's say, $1,000 stand. If you have a nice one, not the regular.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, maybe $1,000. Yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah.
1,500 you're calling. Yeah, 15 depending with the LED lighting.
Roughly just to get into how the business, if you don't know, like with backdrop and everything like that. And we're talking like 18 of these things that you now have. That's an investment. That's a business investment right there. That is a lot of money to be putting up in a company. And I don't think people realize that. And I think that's an important thing to explain to the customers that might be watching this show as to why these things cost so much to rent is like the initial startup cost just to have one of these things is over $3,000. I have clients that call me like, oh, can I get a photo booth for $300? It's like, I can't do that. Like just paying a person to operate the thing for the day is going to cost me almost $300. Plus I spent $3,000 plus just to build the thing. If you break it, I then have to repair it, replace parts, and like that doesn't even cover the cost of that.
So DJ wise for me, I have a set of speakers that I could upgrade. I have a board that I could upgrade. I have, a laptop that just needs updates. That's it. But for the photo booth, you got to update the software that's inside. You got to keep that all going. You have to make sure that your memory card's clear. You got to make sure that you have, enough power to get to your booth. And you don't think about that.
Do you offer online storage gallery for all the photos afterwards?
Oh yeah, I do. So I'm a hang.
Subscription or something?
Oh yeah, my Dropbox. I'm at the 5 terabyte.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So all of that there as well, and all the subscriptions I have to have from Canva to, SmugMug.
Okay.
All of it.
Using, what is it, Darkroom or Lumen Booth or something?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different softwares out there now. My 3 main ones that I use is LA Photo Party, Darkroom, and Snappic.
Okay.
So those are my top 3 that I would suggest. Don't ask me to put them in order because they're definitely not. But to go back to Erin's question, right, about technology and like the downfalls and the pitfalls of like, oh, I got the newest thing, I got the biggest thing. Well, what you used to do back then with a cheaper camera, right, with a Surface Pro that only needed a little bit of a power to it, right, to an LED light, and that's all it was an LED light powering up the printer. To me, I can use a 16 gauge extension cord to go 20, 25 feet to wherever I need to do. Never once had any other type of issue. But now that I had, this iPad booth that people now want prints and they love the software that the iPad has, but I can't get that same software on a PC. And I like the quickness of the PC because you take the picture, it goes right to the printer, it comes right out within seconds. So how do you mesh this together? Right? How do I get an iPad to print like a PC? How do I get the PC to look like the iPad? You could do gifs and boomerangs. It's really smooth and amazing quality. Like these were the struggles that I went through. And so last year, I purchased a booth that was able to give me so much persistence. I can cheat it out from an iPad to a Surface Pro and no worries. I can make the camera be landscape. I can make it like this. I can have the LED lights change colors no matter what software that I have. I can have the printer connected to it. And then if it's an iPad, I have a print module that goes right to it, goes right in. Everything's amazing, right? Old school me, not knowing anything about electronics, knowing nothing about, engineering or anything like that. I just go on Amazon, I find a really good deal on extension cords. I was like, all right, this is good, right? 3-way outlets. It's again, I knew nothing about gauges. And some of you out there may be like, well, you suck. Be like, oh, we knew that. Well, I did.
You're not an electrician.
I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would probably be the guy using a 16 gauge extension cord on a heavy duty power saw. You know what I mean? And not knowing it. I feel like, oh, it starts out, it's working. But that was the problem. It starts up, it works. You think there's no worries. But after so long, eventually one of the electronics, they don't work like power tools where you just dim the power. It's just an on and off. And so if one of those parts, let's say in a printer object, if one of those parts don't get enough power consumed to it, it doesn't turn on. If that doesn't turn on, you aren't getting any connections into your iPad. And now you're sitting here going, oh man, my print module's broke, right? My cable, I have a bad cable. I mean, I'm asking so many different questions. I could understand why in my office it worked like a dream, but I take it out to this venue and now all of a sudden it's not working.
That'd drive me insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was happening so often. And so this was the story I was telling you.
Yeah.
I'm at the Wyndham Grand during the blackout, right? During the power outage we had. And we had 2 of those booths that I have. And so me and my wife are running this for a FedEx Gold event. And we're back to back, right? 2 totally same print modules, same everything, right? You just had this working in our office, was no problem. And I can't connect my printers on both. It won't, if it can read, it can see that it has the connection, but it can't turn, like I can't go into the back end and have it to printer.
Printing was the biggest bee in my existence. I offer all of my clients a steep discount to just do digital. Like if you want to pay for printing, that's fine. I will do it. I will suck it up. But for real, like you only need knowledge. They could download it. They're gonna share it on Facebook anyway.
Could not figure it out for the life of me, right? And I'm like, well, they want, for instance, they're bringing in people from all over the country to come to this event, and they want to have that photo that they could take home when eligible. Everybody wants that tangible thing, so I couldn't get away with it. And none of them are even at the same time. And I'm like, okay, what is up? And after a little bit of research, come to find out that the extension cords, the power I was using in my office, were 14 gauge extension cords, and these were all 16. And they're both connecting into the same circuit. And I come to find out after talking to security, and he's like, I come out to sue. This hotel hasn't lost power in 31 years. Oh, why? Because it's on a dual grid. So if that grid goes down, I have a second grid. And I talked to another guy who is this electrician, and he goes, oh, yeah, that's why you have this side of the house, this side of the street who has no power because it's on one grid. And so your power is going to fluctuate, right? It's never going to be steady. But if you have a smaller gauge extension cord going into something that's needing more power to be able to have, even if it's just an amp more power, it will basically not work.
And for people that are watching, when we talk about gauge, it's literally the thickness of the wire.
Yes.
Yeah. So a 16 is going to be smaller. Anybody that has pure sinks would know, like 10 gauge, 0 gauge, double 0 gauge, to go the full, and it's smaller the number.
So 10 is a 10 gauge accentuator is way overkill. Same was a 12, unless you're running your DJ equipment with a bunch of sound, bunch of lights, and maybe your 880, whatever. But but to me, a 14 gauge was plenty, and especially since I'm running all this stuff. But it's because I upgraded.
Yeah.
Right? It's because I upgraded to the newer cameras and the newer iPad and the newer everything to be able to run all of this through one power strip that's in that head. And I looked at the little mini extension cords so that way, whenever I build the booth, it's a quick, easy setup. 14 freaking gauges. It's like, so I'm going 14 to 16.
Yep.
Well, no, I'm not getting any power. And to me, that if I would have known,
Let's just have 40.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh shit, I got it.
I couldn't sleep until I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm like, hold on. And I made sure that I was right what I'm saying. And there was a lot of other people in the photo booth world who were saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was actually, it came from people who were using the portable batteries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where they're like, hey, Costco has a portable battery for $299. Let's go buy a bunch of them. And everyone just says, hold on. Just because it says 500 watts it could do, or 1,000 watts it could do, how much amperage can it hold?
Yeah.
And what is your booth? Is it just an iPad and a ring light? Yeah, you'll be fine. But if it has all these other components and all those max amp, you total the amount of amperage as it needs max wise, you're bound to have a loss.
Yep, that's all right. Adam, I want one more question from you, and we're gonna let you carry on with your day. And this one is for the people. Well, you see, I never loved that. Somebody getting into DJing, photo booths early on in their career, what should or shouldn't they be doing or thinking about? This is a very open, raw question, I know.
I love how community driven the DJ world is. I do. You're always going to have those people who look at other DJs as competition. Here's the thing. There's healthy competition, right? Every business should have healthy competition where if a bride is asking you, why are you better than the other person? You're not going to put yourself down. You're going to say, I'm amazing and this is why I'm amazing, right? But the thing is, you should never go and say, oh, well, that DJ sucks because of this, because of that. Or if any DJ says, oh, don't get into the market, it's flooded, right? It's not true. Everybody has their talent. Everybody has their niche. And if you can find that niche and you go with it, then the events are going to match with what you have. And for a company like me and a company like you, we see those niches within those DJs and within those photo booth companies. Like I have photo booth companies that I will refer to and I'll contact and say, hey, I know you have this and I see how well you work with what you do. Can we hire you for XYZ?
Mhm.
And the same with DJs. Like in my eyes, if I know that I have a DJ with a lot of personality, he loves the microphone. And this event over here needs an MC to help present people and like to be more engaging. I'm going to be looking for that particular person versus maybe an event that is just, hey, I just want to have a good DJ like party, minimal mic usage.
Yeah.
And I have a DJ who doesn't like, I mean, he likes it, right? But doesn't need it. Or that's who I'm going to be looking for. If all of my guys are out, I'm then going to go look for other DJs that I can say, hey, you're great at what you do. And I think I have an event that can match that.
Right.
It can help. And now they're like, hey, I didn't have a gig. Now I have a gig. Right. And so that's something to consider, right? When you're starting out and you may have those feelings of like, I'm not good enough. Like, again, going back to my story, I thought that I had to own a company to DJ a wedding in Pittsburgh, right? And if you're not from Pittsburgh, or if you are, there's so much help out there, and there's so much things that people are willing to just talk about and get you to do, that they're going to want to open up as much as they can. But I know there's that secret sauce that every DJ or every person who is talented and is a professional, there's that secret sauce that is just them.
Yeah.
Right. And you may or may not get that out of the person that you look up to.
Yeah.
Something to also kind of consider. But
Okay. Erin, anything else for?
No, thank you so much for spending time with us
Great.
today.
I appreciate it. Adam, can you tell everybody where they can find you if they want to look for you online?
yeah, you can find me at Adam Bomb DJ1 on Instagram. Our company is Moxie Events. You can find it at mymoxieevent.com. And our Instagram is also at mymoxieevent.com as well. Or not .com. No, at mymoxieevent. Then, yeah.
Awesome. This has been Unfiltered Ideas. Come back in for the next episode. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm TJ,
I'm Erin Calvamontes.
and we'll talk to you next time.
We're not here to sugarcoat. We're crashing your Pinterest dreams. Let's go. Erin's got the clipboard, TJ's got the tracks. Talking ideas without holding back. From bridezillas to budgets that break. We spill the tea, no filters, no fakes. Venue drama, cake disaster. How to dodge that floral master. Vows, vendors, legal blunders. We light it up and bring the thunder. Unfiltered ideas, we tell it like it is. For lovers, hustlers, and the wedding biz. No fluff, just facts and the stories you choose. With